I'm just going to read a bit from chapter 2, which is where Sheba meets the rest of the peculiars for the first time. Hours later, and the rhythmic clop of horse hooves, coupled with the gentle sway of the caravan, had soothed Sheba's terror a little. There were 2 low bunks, and she sat on one, sneaking glances at her fellow freaks. A hulking giant, the biggest man she had ever seen, took up almost half the caravan space. He had a shaved head, a craggy face scratched with criss-cross patterns of old scars, and a broad striped woolen jersey that looked as though it would pop its seams at any second. Squished into a curled ball, he was trying to jot notes in a leather-bound journal, his meaty fingers making the pencil look like a toothpick. Sitting on the bunk next to Sheba was a beautiful Japanese girl dressed like a boy in black trousers and jerkin. Her eyes were delicately almond-shaped and dark like her long hair. Sheba had never seen anyone from the east before. The girl looked exotic but perfectly normal compared to the others, and smiled sweetly whenever she caught Sheba peeking at her. The bunk opposite was occupied by a mysterious figure puffing on a long clay pipe, its face hidden beneath the brim of a floppy hat. It was only when the person looked up, showing vivid green eyes and soft greying curls, that Sheba realised it was a woman. She was wearing a greatcoat, breeches and knee-high leather boots, and her left arm was resting on a large wooden box from which Sheba could hear a quiet rustling. It smelled as though some kind of animals were inside, and when the woman caught Sheba staring at it, she gave her a quick wink. Hanging from the roof was a small iron cage, and in it, arms, legs and tail dangling through the bars, was a young boy with goggle eyes and a face like the rear end of a bristly pig. He gurned and gaped as if his face was made out of putty, and every visible centimetre of his skin was covered in smears of grime. Great gusts of stink wafted from him as he swayed to and fro, looking every bit like a bored primate in a zoo. He was currently trailing thin strings of dribble from his mouth. Judging by his look of concentration, he was finding it a fascinating pastime. It was a bizarre set of travelling companions, but now her initial burst of terror had subsided, one in which Sheba the wolf girl fitted quite well. She began to feel ashamed about her first reaction. "I'm sorry I screamed when I saw you," she said in a small voice. "That's quite all right," said the woman with the clay pipe, smiling. "We're used to it," added the giant, not looking up from his journal. "She's got a bleeding cheek, though, screaming at us when she looks like an accident in a wig factory," said the cage boy, flicking dribble everywhere. "Ignore him," said the woman. "He's awful rude to everyone he meets, so you mustn't take it personally." "It's fine, I don't mind," said Sheba, although actually she did. "I am a bit strange, I suppose." "As are we all, my dearie. And now you've pulled your little self together, I suppose it's time you were introduced to the company." The woman leant forward, and with the end of her pipe began pointing at the others in the caravan. "That great mound of might and muscle is known as Gigantus, the Man Mountain. The oriental beauty beside you is Sister Moon, a master, or should I say mistress, of the deadly art of ninjutsu. None can stand before her in single combat. The unfortunate ape-like creature in the cage is Monkey Boy. There's not much he can do, except stink the eyebrows off you at 20 paces, although he can shimmy up a tree, just like a real gibbon, when he wants to." As their names were mentioned, they each gave Sheba a glance or a nod. "You didn't tell me your name," said Sheba. "I didn't? How rude. I am Mama Rat, and these here are my little babbies, the cleverest ratties in the country." She tapped the box beside her, at which a series of squeaks and squeals emerged. "Hush now," Mama Rat whispered into one of the holes on the top. "You can get a good look at her when we stop, nosy things." She gave Sheba another wink and blew a few smoke rings from her pipe. Through the air holes cut into the bottom of the box, Sheba glimpsed the twinkle of cunning little eyes. By instinct she hated rodents. The rank stench made her hackles rise. They didn't even smell like proper rats. She swallowed a growl. "My name is Sheba," she said instead. "Very pleased to meet you all."